Okay, let's talk about something that might just be the most successful pickpocket in the entire world. But it's not lurking on a subway or in a crowded street. Nope. It's actually hiding right there in your wallet, and it's disguised as a simple three-digit number. We're talking about your credit score. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how this number can quietly steal your future wealth, $1 at a time.
Most of us were brought up to think of a credit score like it's a grade in school, right? A report card for how good you are with your money. But I want to offer you a totally different way to look at it. What if it's not really a grade at all? What if it's more like a hidden fee system? A system that is designed to take your hard-earned money, your future, and transfer it straight into a bank's profits. Let's take a closer look at how this all works.
And this is where the illusion really kicks in. I mean, think about school. If you got a 97% on a test, you were a superstar, right? You were celebrating. But in the credit world, it just doesn't work that way. If you make 97% of your payments on time, the system can still flag you as high risk. Just think about that for a second. It's a completely different and much tougher grading scale. And the system is, wow, it's incredibly unforgiving. Look at this. Just one single payment that's more than 30 days late can torpedo your score by as much as 180 points. And that one mistake, that one little oops moment, it stays on your credit report for 7 long years. It's like being punished for 7 years for one tiny slip up. It's a pretty brutal cycle, and it's honestly how so many people end up getting trapped. So let's make this real. Enough with the abstract numbers. Let's see how this actually plays out in the biggest purchase most people will ever make in their lives, buying a house. We're going to look at what I like to call the bad credit surcharge. It's like an invisible tax you're forced to pay just for having a lower score. So let's meet Sarah and Mike. They are buying the exact same $400,000 house on the same street, even on the same day. They've got similar jobs, similar savings, pretty much everything is identical. The only big difference? Mike has a stellar 800 credit score, while Sarah has a score of 680, which is still considered goodish by a lot of people. Okay, so because of that difference in their scores, Mike gets a mortgage with a 6.5% interest rate. Sarah gets a 7% rate. Now, when you look at this chart, you might be thinking, 0.5%, what's the big deal? That sounds like nothing. It seems so small, almost insignificant. But trust me, this is the trap. Here is the true cost of that tiny difference. Over the 30-year life of the loan, that little 0.5% means Sarah will pay an extra $50,000 for the exact same house. $50,000! For many, many people, that's an entire year's salary, just handed over to the bank, all because of a number on a screen. This is what's sometimes called a poverty tax. But this story doesn't end there. That $50,000 is just the beginning of the loss. The real heartbreak. The part that really hurts is what that money could have become. This is all about something called opportunity cost, the future you give up when you're forced to pay more today. This timeline really shows the two different paths your money can take. On the low score path, that extra 50 grand just flows straight to the bank as interest. It's gone forever. But on the high score path, just imagine if that same money had been invested instead. If Sarah had been able to put it into a simple S&P 500 index fund, over time, it could have multiplied into hundreds of thousands of dollars for her retirement. Her credit score didn't just cost her $50,000, it cost her a huge piece of her future financial freedom.
So here's the crucial point, right? A low score forces you into a kind of financial doom spending. You're not just paying more for things today, you are actively spending away the freedom and the security of your future self. Every single extra dollar you pay in interest is a dollar your future self won't have. And this doesn't just apply to houses. Oh no, let's talk about cars. With a low credit score, you'll probably get hit with a double-digit interest rate on your car loan. This creates something I call the wage slave driveway. It's that feeling you get when you realize you're working every day just to make payments on a vehicle that loses value the second you drive it off the lot. And the long-term numbers here are just staggering. If you took only the extra interest you pay on a high-rate car loan over your working life and invested it instead, the power of compound growth, that's where your money starts making its own money, could turn it into nearly $1 million for retirement over 40 years. Your credit score is literally the difference between owning your time and being owned by your debts. Okay, So that was the hard truth, but here's the good news, and it's really good news. You can absolutely win this game. The rules are actually incredibly simple, which might be why so many people just overlook them. Let's walk through them together right now. There are really just 3 core rules. First, automate everything. Go into your accounts right now and set up automatic minimum payments. This one move ensures you never, ever have a late payment again. Second, you've got to obey the 30% rule. Never use more than 30% of your available credit limit on any of your cards. And third, don't be new. Lenders love to see a long, stable history, so keep your oldest credit accounts open, even if you don't use them much.
This visual really breaks down that 30% rule. It's about something called credit utilization. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's simple. If your credit limit on a card is, say, $1,000, you should try to never let your balance go over $300. By keeping your borrowing way below your limit, you're signaling to lenders that you aren't reliant on debt, and that is a huge boost to your score.
So, as we wrap this up, I want you to reframe this entire process in your mind. Improving your credit isn't a chore. It's not about being a math genius or being perfectly disciplined all the time. It's about giving a gift to the person you are going to be in 10, 20, or 30 years from now.
The future version of you is literally counting on the decisions you make today. So the final question is simply this: what will they thank you for? Will they thank you for handing over tens of thousands of dollars in extra interest to a bank? Or will they thank you for taking these simple steps to secure their freedom, their retirement, and their peace of mind? The choice truly is yours.